with the 100 butterfly. You got 5 swimmers, Rowdy, in the field that have won this event. And this is what it comes down to. There's Beryl Gastadello down in lane number 1. She has 3 wins. Kelsey Dahlia, 4 wins. Only 1 win in this event this season. She's on the right side of the screen, but she won the final in Vegas a year ago. And far and away, the top team in this event has been Sarah Sjöström's Energy Standard. But they're so tight, right?
Yeah, they've got an actual 1, 2, 3 punch in this. Bannock is not even swimming this. They're saving her for the relay. She comes in 5th, and you're right. What an event to start with. If we're going to start the ISL final, we might as well start with one of the best. 5 of the 6 fastest this season, the 2 fastest in history, and then you've got Beryl Gastadello, who has certainly been the MVP for the LA Current.
And Gastadello, by the way, folks, has been 3/100ths of a second faster than Sarah Sjöström so far in ISL 2020. All right, let's get it kicked off. Who is going to get the first finals win?
When they've been their best this season, Gastadello usually charges out. She's been out 25-7. Sjöström about where she's been, 25-9, and then Skrdai and Dahlia will have to come off the pace. They just don't quite have the speed as those 2.
Yeah, you can't count out Skrdai. She was actually second a year ago in this event in Vegas, and look what we see here. Kelsey Dahlia, who won this event a year ago, out first.
25-5, a half a second faster than she's been out all season, and was real long on that second turn. She is without a doubt going for it. No doubt. Good turn there for her in the middle.
Dahlia has won the 100 butterfly only once this season, but she saved the best for last. Sjöström charging, though. Gastadello charging. Can she hold on? Oh, it is Gastadello by 3/100ths. How did she do it, folks? LA gets the first win.
If you want to see almost every race like this, just stay tuned, because I can guarantee you we're going to have race after race after race exactly like this. 20/100ths of a second separated those 3 swimmers. There's Dahlia. Was there any doubt in your mind right here? Even right here with 5 meters left, I thought she had it. Boy, she was struggling though. And a long touch at the end for her, but what a swim by Gastadello. 3/100ths of a second better than Sjöström, and 21 ahead of Dahlia. What a start.
Beryl Gastadello, the second swimmer overall in the season, and the MVP standings, gets the first win. It goes to LA. 5-time Olympian Mark Foster down with Gastadello.
Beryl, you couldn't have got your team off to a better start. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm super happy to get the win in the final with all the pressure and everything. Off to a good start, but the job is not done yet. I'm super proud of this team. I freaking love them, man.
So you've got a few more races. I'm calling you a smiling assassin.
Sorry?
You're a smiling assassin.
Yeah.
You're a killer.
Yeah. We're gonna keep going. Let's go. Let's go, Tom. Let's go!
Good job, well done.
And by the way, she is destined to go on to the set. We saw her with a little breaking news on social media yesterday, trying to showcase that she as well can anchor the show. Let's watch her race for a few more years. And we got another great battle here. Leclos in 5 with 7 wins. Caleb Dressel, who we told you he averages 73.5 points per match. He is in 3. Or can Tom Shields win back-to-back events for LA? He's down in lane number 1.
As good as the women were, this might be better. 4 of the 5 fastest swimmers in history are in this event, top 5 of the season, and there are those 3, and the battle certainly should come with these 3 amazing legends here in the 100 butterfly. They're all very similar in the way they attack the race. At least they have been this season. 23 flat is just about where their sweet spot is. Dressel 23.2 when he went 48.9, but he's going to go a lot faster than that.
Chad Leclos, the fastest in history. Caleb Dressel out quick. Tom Shields in the picture as well, and this is what he expected, folks. Shields, Dressel, Leclos only 2/10 away.
Wow. Forget about the splits. They went from 23 flat to 22.3 and 22.4 going out. Could we see a world record? They're ahead of world record pace.
Dressel coming home. He's trying to get the first win. 48.08 is the world record. Oh my goodness! The first ever under 48 seconds. Dressel again! A world record! Oh my goodness!
Holy smokes! Good Lord Almighty, did you see that? Is this what we're going to see all weekend, buddy? Oh my gosh! He was 22.4 at the 50. I think many swimmers in the world would take that for a flat start 50 freestyle time. You know, the great thing about him is he just grabs that anchor out front and he just catapults by. Look at the end of that stroke, 22.4, and then he comes back in 25.3. It may not mean a lot to a lot of people. Boy, good gravy.
Caleb Dressel with a world record performance. His unbeaten Condors on top early on. All right, Emily Seebohm getting ready to go in the 200 backstroke. The defending champions, currently third, but we're just getting started. Two big wins early on. Beryl Gastadello getting her hand on the wall first in the 100 butterfly, and then a world record for Caleb Dressel. What a big jackpot. Seebohm's going to be in lane number 5. She's won this event 3 times. Started swimming at the age of 8. At 14 years old, she had already won down in Australia at Nationals, former world record holder in this event. But Bina Nelson down there in lane number 3, she has won this event 4 times as well. And for London, they find themselves currently 4th, Roddy. They really need Kara Toussaint. This isn't her premier event. There she is on the right side, the world record holder in the 50 backstroke. When will London get going? That's the question.
No, she's only 10th rated in this event, and this is one to try to start in, although is her mind in the 50 right now? Well, Seebohm's mind is definitely in the 200. She's not even in the 50 backstroke. We'll get to that more later on. But this is her only individual event today, and boy, she wants it. Top rated. Bina Nelson only 0.3 of a second behind her, though, season-wise.
Seebohm won semifinal number 1. Nelson won semifinal number 2. They meet in the ISL final here.
Nelson is usually the one that charges out in the beginning, the first 50, and then she'll start to settle down after that. Again, season-wise is what we have to base it on, and she's about 3 or 4 of a second ahead of Seebohm at the 100 mark. Where Seebohm has been so good all year, Bernie, is that last 50. You do not want to be anywhere but at least a half a second ahead of Seebohm going into that last 50.
And if you're energy standard, it is a 2-day lead, Roddy, so there's a lot of time to work your way back in it. but you certainly don't want to find yourself with a big gap here after day number 1.
No, and that's why the relays, again, we'll talk about that a lot as the meet goes on, are so important, because those relays will end up picking the skins, the winners, depending on who's the closest to them at the end of the night. Not necessarily what's best for them, but what hurts their biggest opponent. 59.1 for Nelson. That is about 0.3 of a second faster than she's been all season long.
If you've watched Beta Nelson growing up collegiately, swam for Wisconsin and the Badgers, where she was a force to be reckoned with in the Big Ten and around the country. But look at Seebohm now starting to pick up her pace as she heads into this turn with 50 meters to go. You said a half a second, it's 0.7. Is that good enough for Nelson?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a 0.7. That's what she needed to be, because Seebohm historically has outsplit her by about a half a second each time. So I think she's built a big enough cushion that Seebohm's just not going to have enough left to come up. And look at that underwater turn by Beta Nelson.
Man, the Condors are on fire to start this thing off. Beta Nelson gets the win, 2:27.
Wow. She just went her best time by a full second. Just off the American record, second fastest American all time, and slides into the 7th fastest performer all time. And you know what? Her last 50, 30.4, Seebohm, 30.6. Not only did Seebohm not close her down, she didn't even come close to her last 50. And it was that last turn. She managed that middle 200 so well, but look at that last turn, Bernie. She just had a different gear the last 50. A gear we haven't seen this season, certainly, and a lifetime best.
And we told you how big the jackpot points would be. 12 points scored by Beta Nelson as the Condors have soared into the lead. Back down to Mark, who's with Nelson, who's won the 200 back.
Beta, massive PB, you're doing it at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. Our team's super excited for this match. We're primed and ready to go, and I wanted to get some points up there for my team, and I'm glad I could.
The Condors seem to have got their timing right and rested for the main event.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big show, so we're coming up with big swims. We saw Caleb's world record right before we came out, so that gave me some needed energy, and I'm glad I got the win.
That was awesome, well done.
Thank you.
And it's interesting, Rowdy, because when we started to look at this competition, the thing that was so interesting about the Condors is that they were in there so many times. Again, you get a Beta Nelson. That's an event that potentially was going to go to Energy Standard, and now the points go to Cali instead.
Yeah, and this is another case where, you know, Cali just has two, or at least one great swimmer, Kvecki right there in the middle. Zoranek is his second swimmer, but they have a chance here to make some noise with Kvecki, who comes in second ranked to Ryan Murphy. Boy, this is another great heat.
They call him the Jackpot Master. He's down in lane number 1. Ryan Murphy has won this event 7 times.
Right there in front of me, he's got some clear water on his left, lane 0. You'll see that these two teams, LA and London up top, both of them will put their best swimmer in the very outside lane to have that little fresh water on either side of them. Again, when you look at splits, Murphy's the one that has charged out every single time. He's been 52-1 when he went 147-4 in the semifinals. Nobody's even close to that.
3:11.5 won this event in match 6, match 7, and match number 9, but was third in the semifinal.
Reloff was 52-9 in his semifinal when he went 148.3. Boy, he is really charging out too. Look at him. Completely different strategy. Fastest split thus far is 52.9. What's he gonna be here? Oh my goodness, 51.7 going up. That is ahead or right on world record pace, believe it or not.
Mitch Larkin set the world record back in 2015. Relov trying to answer back for energy standard, and he has a body length lead on the Jackpot Master with 50 meters to go.
Boy, look at Relov go. 27 flat there. There is no relief in sight for anybody else. I mean, if anything, he's charging them further ahead.
Relov turned and looked and said, wow. You had to think, it's amazing how much I'm ahead of the rest of the field. Relov trying to get a huge win for energy standard. 145.63 goes 146.37, but the Jackpot this time, instead of going to Murphy, is going to get hauled in by Relov and energy standard. Kimmel writes that one.
James Gibson, the head coach of Energy, better enjoy that one, because in reality, based on the season, that was an upset. You wouldn't say an upset just because Relov comes in with the 4th fastest time in history. Not only does he go his best time, not only does he break his own national record from Russia, but he also goes a time that is the 3rd fastest performer in history. And boy, he swam it the way completely different than he swam all year long. 52.9 before, 51.7 there. He got tired at the end, lost his legs, but it didn't matter. 27.5 on the end, and what a performance by Relov. And Energy, how about Energy getting back into the swing of things with this swim?
Yeah, the defending champions, a much-needed win. It moves them up into 2nd, but what a start for the Condors, soaring early on. Lily King, first ever skins breaststroke champion. It's going to be Lily King.
Lifetime best. I think she's in a bit of state of shock. I don't think she believes it.
I am no regular citizen. No, do you understand what you witnessing?
Most of the time when I'm not racing, I'm pretty lighthearted. I wouldn't even say I'm super competitive outside of the water. But as soon as I'm behind the blocks and goggles are on, it's game time. I don't ever walk in with the intention of not winning my races, because, you know, why would I?
That's a new ISL record. Oh, King did it again!
It's a pretty simple game, you know, you come in to win. It was the goal coming in. It was something that we knew we could accomplish. That's it. To win, you got to be the best, and we've got the best.
King 30 for 30. Oh! Bye-bye. Right back here at the Duna Arena, 3-time Olympic champion Roddy Gaines, Bernie Gunther with you. 2 wins early on for the Cali Condors on day 1 of the ISL finals. And they are the favorites here, folks, in a big way, because Lily King, there she is on the left side. She's won this event 8 times. But it's interesting, Rowdy, because out there in lane number 7 is Annie Laser, who handed her first ever ISL defeat. And well, London finds themselves currently 4th with 26 points. The 200 breaststroke ends up potentially being a pretty good event for them.
Yeah, it really does. And when you think about what Lily King has done, she started off the season so well. The first 3 or 4 weeks, or I should say first 2 or 3 weeks anyway, and then all of a sudden she's leveled off, and I think she really went back to work. I said last weekend she was going to be at her best this weekend, and I know it's only been 5 days, but I still hold true to that. I still think the world record is in jeopardy here. 2:14.57. Certainly her American record of 2:15.80 is as well.
This is also a big event for the defending champions, Energy Standard. They need Larson and Gunish to have a much better performance here.
Oh, it's critical for them to step up, because this is, without a doubt, a very weak event for Energy. So if they can get up there and get a 4th or 5th somewhere, that would certainly help their cause along the way. Great event for London and solid for Cali, especially that woman that's leading off right now. World record split, if you're interested, is 31 flat going out. When she went 2:15.8, she was actually ahead of world record pace and then fell off. The world record held by Rebecca Sony, which is the 2nd oldest world record on the book, set 11 years ago. The only one older is Teresa Allsummer's in the 50 butterfly, and boy, she's charging out, Bernie. She's about 8/10 of a second ahead of world record pace.
And we've already seen a couple of big jackpots. The jackpot time in this event, 5.4 seconds. Back in match number 1, Lily King was the match MVP. One of the big reasons, because of all the jackpot points she hauled in. Check out the split here.
Oh!
4.99.
She's about 2/10 of a second ahead of her world record pace. And believe it or not, she's a little bit slower than when she went 2:15 plus. So she was 104.8 there, so she's kind of backed off. Really where she was the strongest when she went that 2:15 was her last 50. If she can kind of build a little bit more instead of going 36 flat, maybe go 35 low, she's got a chance at that world record. Certainly looks like she's got a nice safe lead here, but don't give up on Annie Laser. She comes home really well the last 50. She's up there in 7.
Yeah, Laser, Pickram in a battle right now with Brie Larson for Energy Standard, but look at Laser charging out there in lane number 7. She is coming hard here, the final 50.
She is coming hard. She was 34.9 to 35.7 there for Lily King. Now watch her right there in the green cap. Laser's going to charge, but I think King's going to hold her off.
Annie Laser took down King a couple matches ago, but King back on top, gets the win for the Condors at 2:15.56. But London, a big 2-3 performance. But again, we told you this was going to be a big jackpot, folks. And it is hauled in by King. 15 points she scores.
Well, the good news there for King is she jackpotted. The good news for London, they get 2nd and 3rd. That's a new American record. By the way, that's the fastest time an American has gone in history. And 2:16.3 for Annie Laser. That's her best time that she's ever put forward. What a tremendous time she did. And how about Pickram going 2:17.7 there to get 3rd. Boy, that was great for London. More so for London and even Cali, believe it or not, because they really needed that. That is the 2nd fastest American time in history for Annie Laser right there. So the top 2 Americans in history, and what a performance by the Canadian Sydney Pickram to get 3rd. She's going to be tough to beat those IMs.
And so already a 34-point lead built by the Condors. Jackpot and skins, those are the keys early on. And Lily King with a big jackpot win there down with Mark.
Lily King with a big jackpot. You guys are just coming into form right at the right time.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I told you guys I wasn't rested yet, so.
An American record?
Yes, very excited.
And more for you to come?
That's the plan. We'll see. I got the 50 next, so should be good.
Good job. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, King getting yet another win, the third win here on day one of the ISL finals. But things start to get interesting. We see London second and third, but there they are, folks. Adam Peaty in lane number 7, but Pagoda out in lane number 8. He is the world record, folks, and this could be a big 1-2 finish, the finish that London's been waiting for.
Yeah, these two events are just spectacular for London, and they need to take advantage of them. Take advantage of those strengths, get Peaty in there for second. But this guy on the left, Will Lacone, is swimming as fast as he swum all season long, had his best time that he's ever had in the semifinal. He will be very good. I talked to him a couple days ago. He said, you know, this is what I've been pointing to, the final.
Nick Fink won this event a year ago for the Cali Condors, by the way. He's gotten a little bit better every time he's gotten in the pool, but again, with that wrist injury, we haven't seen Nick Fink typically the way and the level that he's up to used to.
But this is what he needs. He needs time. That's the only thing that's going to help heal. Time and a little bit more time in the water as far as the training goes. And maybe he could back off a little bit to where he can get to the point where the most important thing here is not this 200, Bernie. The most important thing for Nick Fink is that medley relay coming on at the end of the evening.
Well, we saw Marco Koch right on the world record a number of times this season for the New York Breakers. The Breakers are at home, and this opens up well for London.
There you see the two London swimmers. Far right, Pagoda. Peaty, Pagoda's world record split is 57.9. He just went 58.3 there, so he's not so far off his world record split. There's Lacone right there in front of you with that blue cap. He had a nice split going out too. He was 59.2 before, and he did a good job there going out 58.9. So he is right on it. An American record, by the way, is 2:02.3. The British record is 2:01.4. So you've got a lot of scenarios here that could happen.
All right, Pagoda into the lead with 50 meters to go. Lacone followed by Peaty, but expect Adam Peaty to come charging. Nick Fink looks pretty good there in the middle of the pool in lane number 4 as well, but it's all about Pagoda on the right side of the screen in lane 8.
Yeah, Pagoda's looking great, and the best news all day is for Cali with Nick Fink looking better than he's looked all season long in the 200, which bodes well for the 100, but there goes Pagoda.
London, they get their first win as Pagoda touches the wall first. Peaty falls all the way down to 5th, so not as good as London had hoped. And by the way, the jackpot time was 5 seconds, so everyone's going to keep their points on that battle.
Yeah, and Nick Fink just broke the American record by getting second. He was 2:02.20, which beats Cody Miller's American record from 5 years ago, 2:02.33. And Will Lacone broke the American record too. Won't keep it. There's Lacone second from the left. Nick Fink in the gold. All the way to the right is Pagoda winning it going away. Two guys that break the American record. The most important, London. Pagoda getting first. Peaty gets 5th.
And early on, London was 4th, but folks, now the Roar find themselves second with 52 points behind the Cali Condors, who have gotten up to a great start. Back down to Mark.
Kirill, great swim, much needed for the London Roar.
Yeah, it was amazing. I didn't see anybody, but I know my business and I know my deal. And I try all my best to help my team to climb up in the total rank. I hope I did what I can, and it will help for my team.
And it was good. The London Roar needed that victory.
Yeah, I think it's important victory. And I hope my team will look at me and do the same for all 2 days.
Good job, well done.
Thank you.
And so early on, Cali Condors with 3 wins, and the rest of the wins split among Energy Standard, LA Current, and London Roar. But now, the first chance in the ISL finals to go after double points. And folks, they call James Gibson the relay master because he typically is putting together the team to beat. Is that the story here?
It is the story. They did break the unofficial world record earlier. Doesn't count, obviously, because those swimmers were not from the same country, but the fastest time in history. They are unbeaten in this event. They're about a second ahead of the second-place team, which is London. And boy, they need this win. Energy is not in a desperation mode by any stretch, but they need a win here. And I think they're going to get it. They just, you know, there are keys in the races. LA's, Burbanko, Cali, and Schmidt, London's, Kamenova. There really isn't a key for energy. I mean, they're all four are so good. Bloom is an Olympic gold medalist, and she has the slowest split of anybody on that team at 51.7.
Smolia down in 3, Hahi in 5. Those are the first two out, and the slate edge goes to Hahi of Energy Standard.
Boy, she is out quick, 24.4, and there's a woman that we'll see a lot of. Relays, 200 freestyle coming up a little bit later on tomorrow. She'll swim the 400 later on today. Boy, she is putting them out to a big lead right now.
And remember, when Energy Standard won the first semifinal, they had a huge jackpot on this relay, 50.94, Rowdy, the start for Hahi.
You couldn't ask for better things for Energy. Goes her lifetime best. First time in history to break 51, and any time you see that 50 point to flash up on the screen first time, boy, that is a sweet feeling, let me tell you.
Yeah, pretty good when you have a swimmer like Pernilla Bloom as a relay specialist for Energy Standard. That is how deep that team is, folks. And look at Kamenova for London. She is trying to charge, and now London moving their way into second position.
And she was the key. There's no question about it for London, because she's only been 51.9. If she could throw in a 51 low, I could give them an outside chance. But boy, there's just no way. You've got 4 swimmers that all do the job for Energy. Bloom, 51.5, and she'll be the slow woman. I mean, it's 3 of the 4 are Olympic gold medalists. I don't know how you compete against that. And again, this is huge for Energy, and if I'm them, I don't let up, because I need to get as many jackpot points here as possible. You're not going to get a lot with these teams. They're all so good, but you will be able to get a few. Remember, those are double jackpot points.
Pretty good battle going on for second. Maybe a slight edge to LA down in lane number 1. But Waddle trying to make sure the second place finisher is London. 18 points for first, 14 points for second. And Choystrom is going to dive into the pool with another big advantage for Energy Standard. Almost 2 seconds in front of LA.
It's a great race for second, though. There's Weitzel, London right there. They've got Hopkin at the end. And, you know, again, the fastest time in history. Again, it's not a world record, but 3:25.8 is the time to beat. Choystrom, you know, she's in an interesting dilemma. Does she back off just enough to win? Avoid maybe getting the jackpot points? She's still got a couple races ahead of her, so I have a feeling she's doing just what's necessary to win this race, and that's it. She doesn't look like she's going all out.
Energy Standard gets the first relay win. 3:25.37.
There you go,
Another world's best.
That's what we have to say, right? World best.
And a jackpot getting hauled in by Energy Standard, inching closer to Cali. They moved into second now.
Finally did it. Saw that. I was like, yeah. I was like, I know. Yeah. Racing pride. I was like, no,
Caleb Dressel Florent Manadou getting set to battle in the 50 freestyle at the moment. Those are the two teams on top of the standings. Condors with 93 points, Standard with 77 points, and Manadou once held this world record a year ago in Vegas. Caleb Dressel broke it, going 2024. And the question is, Roddy, can he do it again? Can he be the first man in history under 20 seconds? We saw him break so many of those barriers back in Gainesville, where he swam for the University of Florida in Greg Troy. Can he do it short course meters?
First man to break 18 seconds. First man to break 40 in the 100 freestyle. I think he goes 19 here. 1997.
1997. Manadou, though, eager to try to get the win. He's won this event 4 times this season, 6 times overall.
Dressel has had 40 minutes when he swims this race between the 100 fly and the 50. Manadou comes in fresh, has not swum yet today. That's the advantage that Manadou has here. But Dressel has proved all year long it just doesn't matter. I mean, for him, just look at the semifinals, what he did. I see him going under 20. Going 6'4", just a touch slower than he's been. He doesn't take long. You can't take his eyes off of him. Great turn there by Dressel.
Manadou looks pretty good out in lane number 6, but folks, it's all about Dressel. Can he get under 20 seconds? Oh,
but a world record!
Still a world record for Dressel. He's got his 3rd world record here in Budapest.
What are the jackpot points with this field? Superman does it again. That is his 3rd world record, right, Bernie? Unbelievable. Just a little bit off the start. He wasn't quite clean on the entry there. He had the great turn. The turn was perfect, and what he does is he has speed out of the turn. That's that transition on that breakout. Good finish on the end. Everything was just perfect. The last 25, I would say the start and maybe going into the turn a little off, but that's a world record, the fastest anybody has been in history.
And look at how big this is, folks, for Cali. 24 points, hauled in by the Condors, 7 points, the next nearest. And Cali now with 117 points ahead of the defending champions. And Dressel, by the way, is not done because he's going to lead off the 400 freestyle relay. He may have a chance of breaking the world record in that one as well.
We opened, didn't we say? That's a 2, 3, 4, who knows?
Another interesting race here, folks, because Sjöström back on the pool deck. About 40 minutes or so after she swam the 100 butterfly. Beryl Gastadello back on. She's going to be in lane number 2. Abby Whitesville, American record holder, down in lane number 1. But it's still been a pretty long day for these guys. You think about the grind that is the International Swimming League, completely different how it sets up an international competition, because Sjöström has swam the 100 butterfly, the relay, and now has to race this 50 freestyle.
All within 50 minutes, right? And she just got out of the relay, but all 8 swimmers just got out of the relay, including Abby Whitesville 15 minutes ago. So it's basically an even playing field when you're talking about that kind of rest. Sjöström is certainly vulnerable in this race based on her fly. She was only 51.6 on the relay, so she really backed up on that relay to have a chance there, and very tight.
Energy really needs the win. Sjöström trying to haul in some points. and big ones indeed, but Gastadello trying to snatch it again from Sjöström, but it's going to be 1-2 for Energy Standard. That's what the defending champs needed, folks. That'll put a smile on James Gibson's face.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's it. You could not pick a better scenario for Energy. They jackpotted, she goes 1-2. Sjöström 23:55. Again, time not that fast. So again, that tells me she's certainly vulnerable. If Weitzel goes her time that she went earlier this season at 23:45, that time would have won it, but you throw that out the window. Look at the head being down in line with her spine all the way to the wall. Weitzel gets third, 23:90, but you had 3 swimmers break 24 there. What a swim by Hemsker.
Don't count out the defending champions, folks. They're within 20 points, and they're the favorites later on in the relays. Things are looking good in Budapest. Well, there are 3 moments in a match where teams can change their strategy in London, deciding to put Duncan Scott here in the 200 IM. We liked their strategy early on that Vazayos and Vinny Lanza could go 1-2, but they find themselves 4th, and they wanted to re-up their ante here in this 200 IM because they know it's big.
You could argue either way here. I mean, you could argue keep him out of the IM, keep him fresh for the medley relay. But here's a guy that's ranked 1st this season, 9th fastest performer in history, has to be considered the huge favorite here. I think it's smart. Put him back in here and get some jackpot points, and almost think that the medley relay has to become secondary. You hate to say that, but the points here are critical because, as you said, they're 4th.
Well, the story for London at the moment, a year ago they were 9.5 points behind Energy Standard, but they currently find themselves 4th. I don't think that they thought this late in the day on day number 1, about halfway through this match, they would be 4th. So you really have to up the ante because you want to make sure that that medley relay still is going to be a difference maker for your team as they try to vie for the championship. And there is Vinny Lanza, and there is Andres Vazayos. Between the two, 5 wins, and squarely this becomes a huge event for London early on. And for the current, they counter back with Andrew Seliskar, who's won this event 3 times.
Yeah, Seliskar has to be back to where he was at the very beginning of the season when he went 152.9. That comes in as the 3rd seed of this group. Vazayos was considered the favorite, but now I definitely give the edge of Scott to Scott, at least based on 1 week ago. And London could get back in this in a big way with a 1-2 finish. And that's exactly what Coach Mel Marshall was counting on. Let's go 1-2 here and gain some emotional momentum going into that relay. Might be more important than the actual relay itself. And remember, the relay is still an hour away, so Scott's got plenty of time to rest.
Timon Voss has had a really good start to his career.
He has.
He's up in lane number 2.
Boy, 23.8. LA's going 1-2 right now. That's very fast. That is about a second faster than Voss has been all season going out. Certainly the Rabbit.
And again, at the moment, LA and London separated with 4 lanes in between them.
Scott was 27.2 on his back. He's 27.8 there, so he's come back a little bit to the field, which gives Vazayos a bit of a head start here because Vazayos might have the slight advantage on the breaststroke. They were dead even on the semifinals, but Scott has the advantage on the end. But right now, look at Seliskar go.
Seliskar trying to get LA back into the mix. That was the story for Dave Marsh. They scored it on paper, and he said, so you're saying we have a chance. Don't count out the current, folks. because they have been unbeaten in the relay on the men's side at the end. But it's a battle between Vazayos and Seliskar to see who's going to win the race. And again, with a jackpot time of 4.4 seconds, will the extra points be going to LA or will they go to London? Seliskar is going to hold them in for LA. He gets the win. The Current needed that one, folks.
Well, as much as London needed it, so did LA. In a way, they were third, but only 5 points ahead of London. And you can bet Coach David Marsh and Coach Jack Roach, you just saw on the screen, are happy campers right now. Here's Seliskar, who goes a second and a half faster than he's been all season, Bernie. A 32 flat on the breaststroke was the absolute key. The fastest spin was 32.8. So he goes almost a full second faster on the breaststroke. He goes 27 on the 4, dead even with Vazayos. Scott came back at 26.7. Too late.
15 big points going to the Current, and they are now in third place, down to Mark.
Andrew, you might have been out of the way, but you've certainly got a great swim there.
Yeah, great swim. Fired up for the team. I got a relay in a couple minutes, so I'm gonna swim it down, get back to it.
But you're peaking at the right time, all you guys.
Absolutely, that's what we do.
Get ready for the relay, well done.
Go Bears.
Andrew Seliskar. That's a much-needed win in the 200 IM. They've got a good chance here with Korbenko down in lane number 1. This is a Korbenko in 1, Vida Nelson in 4. Those two have won it one time, and Sydney Pickram up in lane number 7, Rowdy. Pickram, actually born and raised in Florida, is a dual American and Canadian citizen. She swims for Team Canada internationally. She's the ISL's second-rated swimmer in this event.
And she has just gotten faster and faster as the season has gone along, and I think she's due for a great time here. You see her best time, 2:04.34. That's a Canadian record. 2:04.40 is what she went last week.
Well, this was an event dominated by Yuri Ohashi of Tokyo. The Frog Kings, along with the Toronto Titans, those were the two newest teams into ISL 2020, but Tokyo's gone home, Toronto's gone home, and it opens up well for Pickram and even Siobhan Marie O'Connor, who's up in lane number 8. She's out to the early lead.
She's been 2:06 plus, great butterflyer, half stroked it there, far right. This is Pickram's worst stroke, the butterfly, and then she just gets better and better as this race goes along. And everybody says, well, breaststroke, she's a breaststroker, but you know, I would argue that her backstroke, well, it's not as good as a breaststroke, obviously, but she's outsplit everybody here in the field by about a half a second on the backstroke, and then she gets good in the breast. She's second from the right.
Look at Megan Small in lane number 3. She is out almost a full second in front of Pickram.
Yeah, and Megan Small is also a good breaststroker. She has swum the 200 breaststroke this season. She swam it in match 8, but here comes Pickram right now. She was 31.4 on the backstroke. Megan Small was 30.8 on the backstroke, but Pickram's going by her like she's standing still. Look at Pickram go.
Small's best finish is 3rd. It is all about Pickram now. She charged into the lead. A second ahead of Small. They flipped it on a dime by almost 2 seconds in that breaststroke.
35.3 on the split for Pickram right there. She outsplit everybody by over a second and a half, and there she goes. And she's got a great freestyle as well. 2:04.34 is her best time.
Sydney Pickram trying to get win number 3, and it's one more for the Roar as she touches first.
Here comes London. Don't sleep on them. They're not going away. First and 5th there. They are not going away. Jackpotted a few points. And again, her weakness is her fly. I mean, she just isn't quite there on the butterfly. She was 27.5, which is her fastest split of the season. But her freestyle, she's 29.6 on the freestyle leg. And she goes 2:04 flat, the fastest swim in history and for Canada. And certainly one of the fastest. She becomes the 3rd fastest performer in history.
And you think about London, this is a pretty good spot for them in day number 1. They get the win in the 200 IM. Now you have Petey in the breaststroke upcoming. Toussaint, the world record holder. Alia Atkinson could win the event. It's a big win for Pickham, trying to get some momentum for London. Back to Mark.
Sydney, great swim, Canadian record.
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I mean, I told Dave, I go, I'm feeling a 2:03, and to go 0-0 just hurts a little bit, but you know, it's all about the points. I definitely wanted to win, and I saw it was there, and I needed a jackpot to get the points for the team, so I got a little bit, but yeah, it's good for right now.
You smoked the breaststroke leg.
Yeah, I mean, I had the 200 just not too long ago and felt pretty good, won a PB, so happy with that. So I went into it and I knew some of these girls take it out a bit faster than me, and I had to get in the breaststroke leg and then get on the free. So it's good, it looks good for the 4, so I'm happy for that.
It looks good for the Roar. One more for the Roar, well done.
One more for the Roar, get up there.
All right, maybe another one here. Upcoming, the 2nd win of the day belongs to Pickham. And now Pagoda, who got their first win, is going to be in lane number 8 with Adam Petey, who's won this event 4 times in lane number 7, coming off that world record performance a week ago in the 100 breaststroke. What is he going to do here in the 50?
Hey, he's got a shot at the world record, no question about it. 23 100ths of a second is not very much. 25.48, the record 25.25. We saw Sachi go for it all season long. Shamanovich went for it.
And in the field in lane number 4, Nick Fink, who won this event in Vegas. He looked a little bit better early on, but expect P to come charging home. Pagoda, though, leading the way out in lane number 8. This could bode well, very well for London, depending on how it comes out. But it's going to be Shamanovich in lane number 5, but Petey's coming, charging. Can he do it again at the end? No! Shamanovich, he touches first. Oh, energy, that is big by 2 100ths of a second.
And a game changer in a big sense of the word. Everybody coming in talking about Petey, and even Pagoda, who ends up fading to 5th right there. But Shamanovich, you know, he kind of flies under the radar. With Sachi, he did, remember?
Yep.
We didn't talk about him much, and with Petey, didn't talk about him much, but he's been so consistent, Bernie, all year long, and he gets Petey by 2 100ths of a second. And how about Nick Fink going 25.87? Watch Cali's 400 medley relay now. Watch him.
And so the extra points headed to Energy instead of London. We've had some great racing, Roddy, but I think that this is the race of the day. Yep. 50 breaststroke.
No question.
Lily King in 3, 7 wins. Her teammate Molly Hannes with 2 wins, but insert the youngster, the 15-year-old Benedetta Pilato in lane number 3. And then the other big story for me, Roddy, is how good Alia Atkinson was in the semifinal. She's going to be in lane number 7. There is the 15-year-old sensation Pilato.
Well, the absolute key here, Bernie, is what happened about 45 minutes ago. Lily King and Molly Hannes both swam the 200 breaststroke. Atkinson and Pilato both come in fresh. What kind of difference will that make? Hasn't bothered Lily King for most of the year, but it could be a big difference maker here with Atkinson and Pilato.
Atkinson, the world record holder. She's won 13 ISL events.
Oh, great start there by Lily King, 0.65. Atkinson was actually a little quicker, 0.63.
And look at Atkinson in the green cap going after it in lane number 7. She is going to be the one that turns first. Can she get another win for London? She looks pretty good, folks. King is going to have to charge her down, but here comes Pilato. Pilato's making a move towards the end as well. Oh, Pilato's going to go!
No, Lily King!
King! How did she do it, folks? 4/100ths of a second. King getting the win.
You're right on the race. Dead on, buddy. 11/100ths of a second. Between those three amazing women, there's King right in front of you. She just unfolds 3 from the left out of that turn so well, but swimming forward out of it, Atkinson with the green cap does it. But here comes the charge. Here comes the charge, 3 from the left. Here goes Pilato in the red cap. 4/100ths over Pilato. 11/100ths over Atkinson. And Molly Hannison, 29 flat was solid. Boy, if this becomes a skins race, can you imagine?
And again, it's all about putting your hand on the wall first, because Cali with 24 big points, earning the jackpot, and they're on top. All right, Condors soaring here on day number 1 with 168 points, but again, a big moment coming for Energy Standard. Can James Gibson continue as the relay master and get a win here? Caleb Dressel, by the way, is going to lead off the relay for the Condors. Could you see 3 world records in one day, Rowdy?
Well, we certainly could, and it's interesting to note that if Dressel is on, and he has been on, again, this is the 3rd swim for him of the day. The world record, 44.94. It's the oldest world record for the men, set back in January of '09. Almost 12 years ago by the Omri Laveau, who is here, by the way.
So Dressel will lead off, but break it down for us. What should we look for as a key here in this relay?
Well, there are a lot of keys. Now, this is not a slam dunk for Cali. They don't even come in with the fastest time. That is LA down in lane number 1. I think for Cali, it's the 3rd leg, Tate Jackson. Harder, 3rd leg for LA. I think Reloff is absolutely the key leg here, the 1st leg for Energy. Let's see what the world record is.
21.71 going out, not bad.
Not
Maxine
bad.
Rooney right behind him at 0.2 of a second behind.
44.94. Again, 3rd swim in an hour and 15 minutes. Can he break 3 world records in an hour and 15 minutes? 44.94.
And, 45.1. The man is still not human, folks.
So very close. Wow. But again, the critical part about that is that big lead they've got. A little bit of fresh water going on right now for Mostrak, who has been 46-7.
But Kolesnikov is making up the ground, folks. Energy Standard knows how big these relays are in the grand scheme of things. Double points.
And you're right, because Kolesnikov has just been money all season long. We keep thinking backstroke, but this guy's been 45 plus every time he swam. 45-2 for Kolesnikov, his best split of the season. Wow, did it come in perfect time.
And the blanket Energy Standard is back on top.
And that was just huge. 46-5 for Mostrak, but just, you know, he gets beat by a second and a half almost.
Look at Leclos extending the lead.
Leclos been 46-4, and I don't know, with Manitou on the end, you're right about the jackpot king, or about the relay king. The coach is putting together a relay. Wow.
All right, Chad Leclos has built over a second lead. Manitou finishing it out.
Chad Leclos was 45-4, Bernie. 45-4 for Chad Leclos. That is a second faster than he's been all season. You just can't, there's no way, they're like the women, you just can't match up with these four solid splits.
Manitou gets it done. Energy Standard on top again. Their second relay win of the finals. Relay masters indeed. That'll help. Energy Standard now up to 159 points. They go first and fifth in the relay.
46 flat, by the way. Ress was 45-4 for Cali, so he did his job again, bringing Cali home to second. But boy, this was all about the man, Flo Manitou at the end. Just looking so easy, and those exchanges so critical. Everybody safe. Nobody was even close, all the way across the board. There's Manitou. There's Ress. There's Shields at the end, was 46 flat too. And London finishes fourth.
Energy Standard sticking around within 25 points of the Condors after that relay win.
The grand final this weekend is going to be a dogfight. The last 5.5 weeks has been all about this moment, building up to this weekend and defending our title. The way I see things here is anything other than a win is not acceptable.
Obviously we came so close last year, and we've had the challenge of not being able to have a large percentage of our team travel due to a pandemic. We are going in underdogs, so I just think that if we won that, what a story that would be.
So you're telling me we have a chance, huh? All we need to know is we have a chance to win, and we're gonna go all in on trying to win. When these competitors look each other in the eye and they have their team behind them, you're gonna see something here that we don't even see at the Olympic level.
The very first meeting I said to this team, I think this is going to be a wonderful chapter in all of our books.
1, 2, 3, 4!
If if we're blessed to be able to win this thing at the end of the weekend, then I just love to stand back and just watch those kids celebrate.
All right, back on the pool deck at the Duna Arena, three-time Olympic champion Roddy Gaines, Bernie Gunther back with you, and the strategy keeps evolving for London. Kiara Toussaint is out. She broke the world record in this event. Opens the door a little bit now for Olivia Spulig and Beryl Gastadella, but again, it's all about trying to make those adjustments, and we've seen more adjustments, I think, today in the final than we typically do, Roddy.
Especially from London. I mean, here's a chance where they took Scott out of the they put him in the 200 IM, and it didn't really pay off for them. He didn't win that race. He was predicted to do that, and then now maybe they said, you know what, maybe we should take this lesson, take Toussaint out, and save her for the relay. So this is a bit of a shocker for me. I thought for sure if they were going to take her out of anything, maybe take her out of the 200 backstroke where she finished 4th. Smaliga is definitely going to be the favorite now. She's coming in her 3rd swim. Her last one was the 50 freestyle about 35 minutes ago.
And the crazy story is, Roddy, you're almost, if you're London War right now, you're a big Beryl Gastadella fan.
Yeah.
You'd love to see LA get in there and maybe snatch some points away from the Condors. You don't want to see Cali build too big of a lead here on day number 1. But all eyes are going to be on Smaliga. She's won this event 7 times.
She broke the American record the very first match, 25.74, the 4th fastest swimmer in history. The world record, obviously, Toussaint, 25.60. But being this her 3rd swim, I'm sure she just wants to get her hand on the wall first.
Smaliga pretty good underneath the water. Mary Sophie Harvey trying to battle, but it's going to be Smaliga doing it again. 25.83. Smaliga gets the win, and without Toussaint, London goes 7th and 8th.
That hurts. In a big way, that hurts London so much because you take the world record, however, out of that, obviously opening the door for Smaliga. It might have been close anyway. Again, Smaliga only 14 100s behind Toussaint's world record. She's been 25 plus just all year long. Coming off that wall to turn, engages that whole body right there. She's so good at that breakout stroke. And then as you see from underwater, those long arms always come into play. Throws the head back, the weight of that head right to the target, which is the wall, and that hurts London.
And again, they're going to do the same strategy here, Roddy, in the 50 backstroke, because if Guilherme Guido was in this race, it'd be a almost for sure top 3 finish for London. But they're going to go with Christian Diener, their best hope. There's Ryan Murphy down in lane number 1. Zaranek and Coleman Stewart. I know that some people saw the little spat between Stewart and Murphy earlier this week. It's all been cleared up.
Oh yeah, lots of things are said in the heat of the moment, and everybody's good. And this might be the best men's field we see all day. Top 3, even without Guido. You've got 3 of the 6 fastest swimmers in history in this event.
Not, excuse me, they've decided to put Guido into the battle. So now Guido and Diener, this is one that London really needs.
Yeah, you're right. Boy, they can make these changes at the last minute, and we both said on our sheet they weren't going to put in there. And you see those 3 right there? Well, if there was room on that screen for a 4th, you'd put Guido, because that's how tight it is now. That means the top 4 swimmers are in the field this history. That means 4 of the 6 fastest swimmers in history are in this event. That's how good this event is now become. Can Murph bounce back? He's got the top 5 time of the season.
London really needs to rack up some points here now that they've gone and placed Guido back here in the 50 backstroke. Can they get it done? Can they touch first?
London and LA both are desperate for some points here. Ah, boy, what a turn by their Murph. Boy, he is on fire right now. Far left hand of your screen.
It looks like Murphy, folks, is he gonna hold on? Battling against Coleman Stewart. The win goes to Murphy. Indeed, the jackpot master reigns supreme. He hauls in the points.
What a swim by Murph. American record. They are falling. Lily King breaks one. Caleb Dressel breaks one. And now Ryan Murphy just broke an American record that has stood for 11 years, 22:54, and becomes the second fastest swimmer in history with that. You can just see the difference. That's a 50 right there. And Coleman Stewart at 22:76. What a swim for him. He goes his best time to get second.
And the gamble for London doesn't pay off, folks. They score only 9.5 points as the Condors are still on top. I think it's pretty interesting here in the 400 freestyle. There she is, Siobhan Hockey backstage, trying to get the win. Former Michigan Wolverine, did so many great things for the Wolverines. Up in Ann Arbor, now battling with Energy Standard. A year ago, Siobhan Hockey was with DC trying to, you have to think that Hockey was one of the biggest pickups in the offseason for James Gibson, just because of what she can do. And again, the Condors trying to soar without Melanie Margalis here in the 400 freestyle. Look at her, Neely Anderson has to step up.
And they have. And they certainly have done a great job in taking the place of Margalis. Both of them have been right there at 4 minutes or better. I mean, you've got to pretty much guarantee they're going to be somewhere between first and fourth. So they're not going to slip down in the rankings. They're not going to be 6th and 8th, that's for sure.
And is this the moment that Holly Hibbett breaks out for London? A year ago, 3:57.45, but all eyes are going to be on Hockey. She's got 22 ISL wins in her career. 18 of the wins have come here in 2020. He, of course, unmatched in the 200 freestyle. She's won that event 7 times. And later today, on the island, Roddy and I are going to get a chance to call an 800 freestyle, an event that they're just trying to demo, if you will. So if you're a distance fan, you got to get to island.isl.global. It's going to be 6 o'clock local, so noon Eastern. It's a pretty wild race in there.
He went her best time of the season and her lifetime best, actually, getting second to Margalis. I remember that race. It was just a fantastic race. 15/100ths of a second separated those two, but she went 3:58.5 there. The second seed here is Flickener, who's been 3:59.7. So there's not that big of a difference. You certainly think Hahi was going to be the favorite coming in. She's 58.2 going out, which is exactly what she went out. And she went that 3:58. Flickener 58.4 going out, which is exactly what she went out in. Flickener will be able to swim with Hahi the last 50. It's really this middle 100 of the 400 where you're going to end up having to manage it so well. And then there's Haley Anderson, who's already on the U.S. Olympic team in the 10K, who went her best time ever at 4:00.02.
Well, look at Flickener. She is pulled even with Hahi. That bodes pretty well for her, right?
Yeah, I really like what Haley Flickener has brought to this Cali team. You know, she's not a sprinter. You're not going to see her on relays. But time and time again, she'll do what is necessary for the team, right? This is not an event that, certainly not her best event. It's an event that I'm sure she'd prefer not to swim, especially the 400 IM. Mark interviewed her after winning the 400 IM the other day. She goes, "Did you like that?" She goes, "I don't know if I like it. I did what was necessary," and that she'll swim the 400 IM tomorrow. She'll swim the 200 fly tomorrow. You know, those. And I think it's not for the faint of heart.
The Condors feel like they have to build as many points of a lead as possible, because if Energy Standard wins the relay and they play fly or free, those are two events that are not very good for Cali tomorrow in the skins. So again, if they win the relay and it's Lily King, it's a completely different story. So you want to have as big of a lead as possible if you're Cali.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying, is because now Energy really will pick the relay anything to avoid Cali's best swimmers. They don't care about London anymore, at least at this point. London has a good day tomorrow, but as far as the skins go in a couple events, you can bet Energy's going to pick whatever event Cali's not strong in, and that's obviously the breaststroke at this point. Although, you know, Atkinson, or rather Pilato, was only 2/100ths of a second behind King. But for three of them, I still put my money on King. But how about what Flickener's doing right here? 3:29.4 with 50 meters left to go. This arguably is the upset of the day. I know Flickener was not that far away, but what a swim by Flickener. What a swim by her teammate. If they went 1-2 here, this would be huge.
Hahi tried to get in the middle, and again, Condors trying to get some big points without Margalis. Flickener takes the 400 freestyle, and Cali does go first and third.
Unbelievable, Haley Flickener. That is, you know, we've seen world records. Obviously, those are swims of the day, but when you're talking an unheralded and underrated swim of the day, that's Haley Flickener right there. 3:58.7. She's out 1:58.7 back in 2 minutes. And just everything about that race just screamed perfection from Haley Flickener. She is now the fastest time for her she's ever been. It's just really just exactly what, if you're if you're a Cali fan, boy, you are happy right now.
The lead now 34.5 points over the defending champions. But Energy counters back with a really good event of their own, as Dinas Rapsis is going to be down in lane number 5. But you can't count on London here, because Tom Dean, maybe the swim of a lifetime, is that what you would call it, when he defeated Rapsis in the semifinal?
Yeah, when he goes 3:37. Best time he's been in his life to do that? Absolutely. That was the swim of the semifinal for sure. And certainly the swim of the life for Tom Dean. Can he pull a repeat here? If Raps is on, there's no way. But if he's off, absolutely, Dean can do it.
For the Condors, Tally Haas won this event in the second semifinal, but there they are, James Sky and Tom Dean. And by the way, James Sky has been waiting for this moment, but can they do better than the man, Dinas Rapsis, who's gone 3:35.49 this season.
And look at his best time, Bowen. That's the third fastest performer in history, 3:33.2. That's only a second off the world record, and he did that last year. Not like he did it 10 years ago, he did it last year. So again, it just depends. He's been on and off. He's been good in some races and not so good in others. It's just kind of strange. He's been up and down. And if you're a Cali fan, you're certainly hoping he's down, and a London fan, you're hoping he's down, and hoping Dean will be able to do it. When he went 3:35 this year, he was out 1:47.1. When Dean went 3:37, he was out 1:47.7. So they're not that far apart.
7 wins today, one of them from Haley Flicketer for the Condors. She's down with Mark.
Haley, another great job for the Condors. You're loving that 400 freestyle.
Yes, I love being next to Haley. The Haley dynamic duo is what our coaches call us. So yeah, just having fun.
And Siobhan, you knew she was going to be there. She's got a lot of speed, but you just seem to get your pace. You did your thing.
Yes,
Wore her down.
Yes, I like to kind of control my own race. I know, like, I try not to go out super fast because I know I have the back end speed, so I kind of stay with them. And if I'm ahead, then I know it's going to be good.
What I also love is you finish and I say, can I talk to you? And you're not even out of breath.
No. I mean, I'm tired, but like, I train to do this kind of stuff, and I'm really proud and happy to see that the way I train is really showing in the pool, and it gives me a lot of confidence for later down the road as well.
The sprinters are the glamorous events, but you do the hard events. You get those hard points.
Hey, I was in the 100 free on the relay.
Okay, what was that like?
I did 100.
Did you enjoy that?
It was so much fun. I love being out there and standing next to the girls. Rather than just myself, it's a different feeling being able to stand out there with the other girls.
Well done, another win for the Condors.
Yep, yes, go Doors.
And maybe a win here for LA. Rowdy?
Again, these guys have been here. Sheffer's been here before. He's good in the first 100, first 200, but he hasn't been able to put it together the second 100. You know, here's Rapsis, and that's the big story. Again, he's moved up a little bit. He was 7th at the 100. Now at the 200, he was 4th, but way off his pace of what he's been doing all year long. At 2 seconds off of what he went when he went 3:35. I love the way Dean's looking right now. Boy, he was 1:48.2, a little off of what he did, but looking so smooth right here. Just got a great posture in the water, great balance, that great line. And now he's moved out in front enough, Bernie, in that lane number 7 to be able to kind of see everybody when he turns at the wall here. So as we go into the 300-meter mark, let's check his split because he's been 344 or 244 rather. He's still looking pretty good. He's breathing right into the field.
London desperately needs this.
Yeah.
They only have 2 wins, which is really surprising here on day number 1. We would have expected London to have done better, but they are still in range. Anything could happen, particularly with the Skins tomorrow, but can they get a win here? Dean has another victory over Rapsis in sight, but Danis Rapsis is coming hard here, the final 50. He's eyeing the win.
When Rapsis went 3:35, his last 50 was 25.3.
Oh,
there he comes!
Charging. Rapsis, is he gonna take down Dean at the end? No! Dean holds on. London needed that one.
What a swim by Tom Dean. What a swim. 148.2, 148.4. That was just spectacular. The British record is James Guy, who was in the field with him, 3:36.3. That was done 6 years ago. That's the second fastest British time in history, obviously. He almost took down his teammate's record, but the most important thing in that race, he held off the man in the middle, who at the end was 25 plus at the end as well. And just waited too long. And I don't know what he was thinking by doing that, but hello, Tom Dean. Great job, buddy.
Well, one more for the Roar in the 400 freestyle. Yeah, but stay with us because the battle for the skins is next. All right, back in Duna Arena, this one to decide the skins. The Condors, they've never been beaten in the 4x100 medley relay, but they come in with the third fastest time of the season.
And I like energy here. I really do. I think they held C-Bomb off the 50 backstroke. She'll come in fresh. She swam the 200 back, but that was almost 2 hours ago. Toussaint comes in fresh. She's a key. She did not swim the 50 back. She did swim the 200 backstroke, but when she comes in fresh, she is really good. And as Cali's been undefeated, I don't know how they can beat energy. You look at it, and Dahlia had a good fly. King's gonna have to be really fast, and Erica Brown's gonna have to hold off a charging Sjöström and Freya Anderson from London. That's the key for them. Cali's key is Brown, Bernie. I don't think LA has a chance here. I think the key is C-Bomb and Toussaint in the beginning. Did holding them off the 50 backstroke pay off here?
C-Bomb's gonna be in 5, Toussaint in lane number 7. The winner gets to pick the skins. How good is the breaststroke duel going to be between Atkinson, Pilato, and King?
This season, they've all been 103 flat on the relay. Maliga's been busy today. She's been 55.7. She went 56.1 in the semifinals. C-Bomb was 56.2 on the leadoff in the semifinals. Toussaint 56.6. That's a big difference. But she swam the 50 backstroke.
Look at Toussaint.
Yeah.
So far, so good for London out in lane number 7.
Boy, there you go. Toussaint looking really good. 26.7 on the feet. That turns to the side a little bit at that kind of 20-25-degree angle. Gives her a little bit better dolphin kick off the wall. There she is right there. See how she turns to her side? Almost 45-degree actually, but here comes.
Looks like Smoliga and the Condors are going to pull into the lead with the fastest breaststroker in history diving in with a half-a-second lead.
How about Olivia Smoliga? She just broke her own American record, leading off, and boy, you could not ask for a better way to start this race for Cali. Unbelievable start there for them, and Toussaint with 56.1. If you're looking at C-Bomb 56.3, that's not what you needed if you're going to keep pace with Cali now.
King extends the lead. It's now almost a full second over Atkinson.
Atkinson starting to charge. She's got great turns. Watch King there to the left. Toussaint will come off the wall better. She charges out of the hole so well. There she is in the green cap. But still, look at Lily King. Look at Lily King go.
The Condors have never been beaten, and they're going to have the lead halfway through.
102.4 for Lily King. 102.4.
It is a busy day for King, Rowdy.
Wow, 103.5 and 103.4 for Pilato and Atkinson. Tell me that's not a big difference. You split your rivals out by a second. Oh, long turn there for Kelsey Dahlia there.
Remember Bannock?
Yep,
Is rested. She is trying to close the gap. Waddle trying to give London a chance out of lane number 7.
And you're going to need a half a second, at least. You know what? To be safe, you need to have a second on Shoyster and Freya Anderson. And you're going to have over a second. Way over a second.
How about 2 seconds?
54-7 for Dahlia. She outsplit Bannock. She outsplit Waddle. Both of them were 54-8. Goodbye. There's the team picking the skins tomorrow, right there. And all their starts were safe. No false starts.
Condors are feeling it, folks. Atkinson trying to move London into second. But Erica Brown has the turn. The Condors have the lead. Folks, get it dialed in. We're going to see some breaststroke skins tomorrow as the Condors soar to the win. That's a game changer, folks.
And that is a world record. A world record. That is a world record. You have 4 Americans swimming in that race.
A world
American record.
Wow.
55-6 on Samaliga. What a way to start for her. Unbelievable on the backstroke, and then Lily King takes over with 102.4. Certainly one of the fastest, if not the fastest splits in history. And then Kelsey Dahlia, 54.7 for her. She was slow off the blocks. And then what about Erica Brown? Following up at the very end. What a charge she made, holding off an amazing split by Freya Anderson. Freya Anderson, 50.4. She went by Shoystra, but 51.7 for Erica Brown, and that's a world record.
What a moment for the Condors. World record breaking, and they are picking the skins, folks. Down to Mark Foster, who's with Condors head coach Jonty Skinner.
John C., what did you eat for breakfast this morning?
I tell you what, I'm sure glad you're over here asking me this question. Because, I mean, we're third going in, and we needed a big, big day, and we got it.
3 world records.
Oh. I don't know, it's just one of those things that kind of happens when you race your butt off, really. I mean,
and can you tell me what you're going to choose for the women? Is it Lily, Olivia, the skins?
I don't know. We're going to figure that out. I'm just glad we got the choice. That's the bottom line, that we have the choice.
Good man, you done a great job. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, the Condors get the first pick. I think Jonty's holding back. It's hard to imagine that it's not Lily King swimming breaststroke.
It has to be Lily King.
But again, it's not a given because you have Pilato and you have Atkinson going.
And Smaliga, the way she's swimming, and she could put 350 backstrokes together really well, obviously. Look what she just did in there. This one right here, it's a toss-up. You've got all 4 teams here that right there together. They're all a second apart season-wise. And, you know, you give the slight edge to energy here. But coming in, London and Energy are 5/100ths of a second apart for the season. We saw Murphy, what he did in the 50 back. He's got to get LA off to a big lead if they're going to have a chance. Far left. Wild card in all of this for Cali, without a doubt, Nick Fink, the second leg, is going to be huge for Energy because we just put together a fantastic 200 breaststroke, broke the American record.
Kolesnikov looking pretty good. He's in lane number 5. Energy eyeing the pick. They want to neutralize Caleb Dressel and not see him swim the skins, and they're out to the lead.
That's a world record by Kolesnikov!
Oh, wow, a world record start!
48.5 on the start for Kolesnikov. Wow, what a start for Energy. What a start for Energy. 48.58.
Energy in the lead. Shamanovich in lane number 5. He won the 50 breaststroke earlier. Silva down in 1. Petey up in 8.
I mean, how do you match that? A world record, and Guido was 49.5, by the way, on the leadoff. There's Petey far right, trying to put London back in it. 55.3 for Shamanovich. Petey 55.3. You're thinking Cali and Fink, he's 56.3. That doesn't give a lot of room for Dressel. Yeah, this is, they're turning the tables on Cali here. Now it's all Energy. All Energy.
Tom Shields trying to give it a go down in lane number 1. But oh, Energy, they look good.
48.5 for Leclos. That's a great split versus Tom Shields. 48 flat on Tom Shields.
And while London is second, Rooney charged home. He's not chasing Billis, folks. He's chasing Manadoo.
They're all chasing Manadoo. And they're not going to catch him. And who do you pick for Energy? All safe on the starts, by the way. Nobody.
Cali picks the skins on the women's side, but the men, it's going to go back to the relay master, to James Gibson and Energy Standard as they get the win. And by over a second.
And if anybody needed it, it was Energy. If you're going to maintain any kind of proximity to Cali, you had to have this relay. And that was the world record you just saw there by Kolesnikov, 48.5, and that did it. Murphy was second at 49.3. I mean, you built almost a second lead at the beginning. Unbelievable.
So at the end of day number 1, the Condors leading by 27.5 points over the defending champions. What a first day. Records fell here in the Duna Arena, and we're only getting started. What will day 2 hold? We'll find out tomorrow. Our MVP standings: 2 Condors on top. Caleb Dressel, 40.5 points. Lily King, 38.5 points. We see both those Condors